Hi, I'm Linda from zialinda.com, and today I'm going to be making chili, but with ground turkey and ground sausage. So we're going to be making a nice hearty chili, but instead of using beef, typically when I make chili, I use beef and pork, a combination of two, or sometimes just beef. But usually when I do beef, I'll do ground beef as well as chunks of beef, of tips, or and the same with the pork. But today we're going to make a chili with some ground turkey and actually some sausage. So basic ingredients for making, or at least our ingredients for making chili are here. We have some red kidney beans. We have the cannellini beans, the white beans. I use, it's the diced red peppers. And then actually this is just the ground peeled, kitchen ready peppers, I'm sorry, ground diced tomatoes. And this is the ground peeled tomatoes. And I've actually added about a 3/4 of a cup of water to that, just so that's why it's so loose. And over here, I've actually already chopped up all of my vegetables, done all of my prepping for this. We have an onion, which is all chopped up. We also have some diced garlic. This is what we call, my father used to grow them in our garden. They're either Italian peppers, banana peppers, cubanellas. Various supermarkets, I think, label them differently, but that's what this is, and it has a little bit of a bite. I actually put this in my marinara sauce. My dad always used to put this in his sauce, and I always do, and it just gives it just that extra flavor. So that's what this is, and that'll be going in. Of course, we have some red bell pepper, and then I'm using a jalapeno. Word to the wise when you're dealing with jalapenos or habaneros, which we have here, be really careful. They, excrete oils, and those oils can be very, very hot. So be careful when you're using peppers. Wash your hands frequently. Don't touch your face or your eyes or anything like that. I mean, if you want to wear gloves, you can wear gloves when you're cutting, because even when you're cutting them, it secretes the oils. And then if you do touch your skin, it burns. I've actually, when I've used a lot of habaneros or jalapenos, my fingertips would burn. So I would I definitely recommend washing frequently, and don't touch your face or your eyes especially. And this is a little habanero. And then what I have here is kind of my spice mixture. Now you can go to the market and get a Tex-Mix chili pack. You can get McCormick's. All the different brands have various packages that you can just open up and put into your chili that have all of the ingredients that kind of give that chili its flavor. But this is my own little mix. And there's probably too much in here to add to the chili that we're going to be making. So I'm going to actually measure it out. And I'm actually doing that for your benefit, because usually I measure nothing. So I actually went out and we got these little spoons. So I measured this out. And what's in here, and I'm going to have to read it to you, because again, I usually just, when I make the chili, I just sprinkle stuff in. I don't measure them, but I put a tablespoon of paprika and a tablespoon of onion powder in here. And I also have a teaspoon of Old Bay seasoning, a teaspoon of cayenne, some red pepper, a teaspoon of cumin, and a teaspoon of garlic powder. So that's what's in my little seasoning mix. And then we'll probably add, I'm not going to add that entire amount while I'm making the chili, but once I do put a tablespoon of it or so in, and then as we taste it, we'll see whether I need to add more. My husband also makes a really incredible dry rub. I don't know if you can see that. And typically I will add this to the chili as well. It has all of the ingredients that are in that chili mix that I made, but it also has mustard and white pepper and all kinds of other ingredients in there as well. I think there might even be some oregano. But in any event, it's a great rub that he makes. We use it when we do pulled pork and in our barbecue dishes, and we rub ribs with it. It's an awesome, awesome rub. And often I'll put a sprinkling of that in. So we're going to go, the other ingredient, of course, probably the star of the dish is the turkey. And what I'm using is ground turkey and some sausages. And these are hot turkey sausage, and these are sweet turkey sausage. And again, with pork or with any meat, frequent hand washing is a must, because you don't want to cross-contaminate or touch things, and then, you know, you don't want to get sick when you're cooking. So what I'm going to do is come over to the stove, and we're going to get this started. Let me turn this on. And I have to tell you, until a couple of weeks ago, I never made I've never used ground turkey when making chili. I've always used beef. I think I might have tried it once a long, long time ago, and I really did not like it and never made it since. But we're trying to eat healthier. We're trying to actually do a lot more clean eating. This certainly I wouldn't constitute as clean eating, but it is healthier for our diet anyway. So I thought, you know, let's do some, wanted to watch the football game and wanted to have some nice chili and cornbread to go with it. So I thought, let me try this. And the taste is so good. It's very, very flavorful. I don't even know that I'm eating ground turkey. My husband really liked it. I brought it to work, and a colleague and her husband tried some, and they really liked it. So I think it's a winner. So now this is going to cook. And I'm going to lower this just a touch. And I want to show you one more thing before I step away from this. And I put 2 sweet and 2 hot sausages in there. But I want 3 of each. But I wanted to do this so that you could see what I do with it. And I'm just buying them in the store. I'm not making the sausages. I'm purchasing them at the store. And they're so simple to peel. Just make a slit right down the center, just like that. And then all you do is take the skin, and the skin literally just comes right off. It's that simple. And of course, again, the hand washing. And I'm just going to put the rest of that right in there. And we're going to step away for a minute because that needs some time to cook, and we'll be right back. Hello again. So we're back, and we're cooking this nice pork and sausage mixture. It's starting to cook down a little bit, but it still has a ways to go. But what I want to do is I want to add a little salt and a little pepper. Maybe a little more pepper. This is all going to get drained out mostly, but we want this turkey to be nice and flavorful. And then this is a little mixture of sea salt and some garlic. And so we're going to just put that in there and mix this up some more. Now this mixture of ground turkey and the sweet and the hot sausage is also a mixture that we use to make kind of like a take on a Thai lettuce wrap. So when we get to putting this together, if I feel like I've got too much turkey here, which part of the reason I cooked 2 packages of ground turkey was because I was planning on setting aside a little bit for those Thai lettuce wraps later. So we'll see that as we go a little further with this. But we'll let this simmer, continue to simmer. It smells wonderful though. You can smell the spices in the sausage just really coming through. I don't know if you can see this right in here, you know, because of course that turkey sausage has all the pretty much the same sort of things that regular sausage has. So there's some nice red pepper in there, giving out a little bit of spiciness. I don't know if you can see the juices. The juices, of course, are not running clear because it's not cooked, but they've got that little tinge of red from that red pepper and just from that sausage. And it really does. It smells wonderful. So this is going to make a really delicious chili. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to turn this on, and I'm going to add some olive oil because now I want to start, let's see, probably about a tablespoon. I'm not sure. Again, I don't do any measurements, but that's pretty much about a tablespoon of olive oil. And there went the onions, and now our banana pepper, and now we have our red pepper. And I'm going to get another scoop here, and I'm going to get this garlic in here. So we want all of these things in here, sauteing up nicely. And I'm thinking I may add just a touch more olive oil. I don't know if you can see that. It looks so pretty. Actually, it looks like the colors of the Italian flag. So letting those start to get a little heat under them and start to saute. We don't want to saute them too much. We want the onions to become kind of transparent, but it's all going to simmer and cook together as part of the chili. So now I want to put in the jalapenos, and again, I'm not going to avoid touching those and just kind of use my little spoon. And then I'm going to put in the habanero, and I'm definitely avoiding to touch those. My husband likes it really spicy. It depends upon how I'm feeling as to how spicy I like it. Much less so. So it's so much easier to add heat than to take it away. So I err on the side of making it mild, a little spicy but not overly so, because you can always add things to spice it up for you. But if somebody doesn't really like it spicy, then it's too late if you've already done it. So we're just going to let that go. And that's looking really good. And I'm coming back over here to stir this. And this is still not ready yet, but it's starting to come along. Because what we're going to do with this is I'm going to finish letting it cook, and then I'm going to drain it. And then I'll take this wooden spoon in the strainer, and I will just keep stirring the turkey to kind of break it down into little pieces, because as you can see, it's all kind of clumped together. So that will happen once it's cooked and once it's being strained. And then I'll be setting it aside, because I'll be finishing with the base of that, and then I'll be adding the meat later. So we're going to let this cook and let that cook down a little bit more, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Hello, so we're back again, and these are sauteing beautifully. So what I want to do now is I want to actually add my tomatoes. So here I will add the diced tomato. Give that a little stir. Isn't that lovely? You know, this, just as it is right here, just like this, would make a great topping for chicken or even pork. Add some seasonings, make like a nice fresh kind of salsa. It's great. So, and then we're going to add the ground peeled tomatoes that have some water in them. And that water is going to help with the spice pack. When we put that spice pack of seasonings in here, and I might actually add some more water. So I'm actually going to reserve that bowl that has the tomatoes in it, because I may just clean the bowl with some water. There we go. Look at that. So now that's almost looking like some sort of a makeshift tomato sauce, but not really, because now I'm going to move right over here and grab these spices. And I'm going to get this tablespoon, and I'm going to put a tablespoon of them in there. Actually, it needs a little more, so I'm going to start with 2. And we're going to stop there for the time being. I'm going to mix that up, and you're going to see the color is going to start to change. It's going to darken up a little. It's going to start to look like chili. color of chili. Eventually, it's going to get there as it starts to cook. All right. And we're going to go back to this ground turkey and sausage mixture, which is looking like it's starting to get cooked and close to where it is where I'm going to want to strain it. That's looking really good. So we'll take another little break and we'll be back in a minute. Hi, we're back, and we're back with our ground turkey chili. So, you know that what they say about best laid plans? I forgot one of my ingredients, and that's corn, frozen corn. Actually, when we were shopping and I was telling my husband I'm going to make some some chili, and I'm going to try using ground turkey. So, well, how about adding some corn to it? Great idea. And when I made it, it was fabulous with the corn. And so when I had all my ingredients all laid out, I did forget to put the corn out, so you didn't see it. The corn, of course, is not in season here. We live in the East, and or in the Northeast, and so I would normally really love to use, just get some corn on the cob and use some fresh corn, like just, cut the corn off the cob. But when we can't do that, then frozen is just as good. And I would have actually sauteed this along with my my peppers and the onions and the garlic, just to give it a little bit of flavor with that olive oil prior to adding the tomatoes. But in the case that I forgot to do that earlier, I'm going to just add these now and let them cook up a little bit in here. So there you have it, some nice corn. And while we were away, I also tasted the chili. And it has a touch of heat, but it's definitely not overpowering in any way. So I know it can definitely stand to use a little more of our spice. So I'm adding another, whoops, I think that one went in, tablespoon of that. Again, I'm not used to working with those. I usually just pour things in, but and I think I might just go right back to doing that, because we're gonna have to taste it again and kind of see what it's missing. It might need a little bit more cayenne. It could need a little more cumin. I'm not really sure, because like I said, it had some nice heat on it, but the flavors really weren't gelled together yet. So I'm gonna let that cook a little bit more, and then we'll see what else we're gonna be adding back into there. While this is cooking, we're gonna just take a little walk over here to the sink where I have the turkey. And this is now drained, and I'm draining it a little more. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing is I'm just taking it and putting this, putting it in another little sieve, and I'm just trying to break it apart, because that's the way I want to do this to get it in my pot. I kind of want it broken down really small. So there we go, and we'll be back in a minute. Hello again. While we were away, tasted it again, and it really needed a little something else. So I actually put another tablespoon of cumin and paprika in there. You can check the recipe on the website, zialinda.com, for the recipe and for the ingredients and the amounts that I put in, but in total. But it just needed a little more, and I still have a little left of my my little package that I made of spices, which is probably going to go back in there. But what I also wanted to show you is, so now we've drained the pork and the sausage. But before I put it in, I'm just trying to break it down into smaller pieces, just so that it's kind of broken down. And then just put it in, because this has been drained really well. All of the fat and the grease are gone. And we just have ground turkey and ground turkey sausage. And I am going to just keep doing this throughout this whole throughout this whole container. to get this all mixed in, and then I'm going to be adding my beans, and then we're going to have something that looks like chili. And then in a little while, after it's cooked for a bit together and all of those flavors have married, is going to taste like a really awesome chili. So we'll be back in a few. Hello again. So we're back with our chili, and we have one set of ingredients left to put in, and that's the beans. So now I'm adding the red kidney beans. I added the rest of my little spice dish, so that's all in there. And now we're going to put in the white cannellini beans. And this now, very gently, we're going to stir in, because we have quite a full pot of chili here. And this has just been cooking up nicely. I've lowered the heat. And now just incorporating all of this goodness together. Now, I also added a cup of water, just to kind of add a little bit to move those spices that we put in around. As it cooks down, if I feel like it needs it, I might add some more diced tomatoes, just a small can of diced tomatoes. But I think this is going to be perfect just as it is. It's just going to really cook up really well, so I don't really think we're going to need to add anything else to this. All this is going to need to do now is just simmer for a little while to let all the flavors come together. Obviously, you want to check it for salt and pepper, and you want to put the amount of heat that you want in it. If you feel you need more cayenne, or you know, even add more habanero or jalapeno, or you know, some peppers to give it some additional heat. It's really to your liking. But for us, this is going to sit here for a while. I'm going to put the cover on it and turn it down to low and just let it simmer and let the flavors marry. And then we'll come back later when it's all done and we'll show you a finished bowl. Thanks. Hi, and we're back with Zia Linda on zialinda.com, and we're coming to check in on the chili, and our ground turkey sausage chili is done, and the flavor profile is absolutely delicious. All those nice spices that we have in there. So let's serve up a little bowl here. Now, of course, you can do whatever you want with this. You can eat it just like this. You can add a little grated cheese, some Monterey Jack or sharp cheese, whatever you want. We like to eat it with the Tostitos, with the nachos. You can, or just eat it just like this, of course, followed maybe by a nice ale. But if you want the recipe for this ground turkey chili, visit zialinda.com for that recipe and for the other ones on the site. Bon appetit. Have a great day.